Have you ever known someone in your life, maybe in your own family, who just felt off? Someone who could lie without blinking, hurt others without a trace of guilt, and always seemed to be playing a game no one else understood? You're not imagining it. Such people do exist. Have you ever made a big life decision? Maybe you were excited about a new job, a new relationship, or moving to a new city. And this one family member walks in and sows the perfect seed of doubt. They don't yell, they don't argue, they do it with subtle comments. Just looking out for you, that kind of concern. One that is perfectly designed to hit your deepest insecurity. And suddenly, your excitement level is gone. It is replaced by anxiety, confusion, self-doubt. Now, what I'm going to do is, I will tell you a very interesting story, okay? This is about Dr. James Fallon. He just passed away probably a couple of years ago. He was a neuroscientist and a professor of psychiatry and human behavior at the University of California. He's well known for both his research in neuroscience, number one, and number two, a very unusual personal discovery that made him prominently famous. So what happened was that in the mid 2000s, while studying, so he was studying brain scans of murderers and psychopaths for research. So as I told you, he was a neuroscience researcher, right? Dr. James Fallon accidentally mixed in scans of his own family as a control group, okay? So he mixed in scans of his family with the scans of the murderers and some people who were into criminal activities. To his shock, one of the scans matched the classic psychopathic brain pattern, which is low activity in the orbital cortex and amygdala. These are parts of brain that have low activity in case of psychopaths, okay? These are regions that are tied to feelings like empathy, morality, and impulse control, where there are things that you want to do, but you tell yourself, no, let's not do it. That is impulse control. Okay. Now that scan, this is the interesting part. Listen to me. That scan turned out to be his own scan, his own brain. Now, this is one of his quotes, really interesting. I don't have feelings of empathy or guilt. It's just a fact. I am a psychopath. It's like having high cholesterol. It's like a biological fact about his body, about his brain, that he just can't get those feelings. It's like, if I'm not feeling excited in this moment, I'm not excited. I'm feeling dull. And it's like a fact for me, right? This is how he explained his own brain, that I cannot perceive a person's empathy. I cannot understand how it is to feel empathy for somebody or to feel guilt for someone. Those kind of things. So this is what he confessed about himself. And there are some beautiful interviews that are available on YouTube. You can search those up and see it. I saw one of his very long interviews before recording this video for you because I wanted to do my own research. And such a fascinating, such a charismatic personality, I would describe him to be. Very charismatic, really charming, and a psychopath. And a self-declared one. People hardly do that. People don't tell others about it. And he made it public in the most public manner. He declared it to the world that I'm a psychopath. Because while research, he found it out and it was fascinating for him. And you know what? This did not happen very early in his life. Probably, if I'm not wrong, it happened around the age of 60. So all his life, he went along without realizing that there were certain feelings that he could not feel. And because they were missing, it's like a certain color. Imagine there is a color that other people can see, but you can't. So for you, it doesn't exist. Other people can see it and it's like a fact for them. But you realizing it about 5 or 6 decades of your life later that, okay, so there was this one more color in the spectrum that I never could see, but nobody else told you about it. You could not get the difference. So it did not exist for you. So this is something like what happened in his case. Why do they do it? What if I told you they didn't do it because they were concerned? Now, I'm talking about that person in your family or maybe in your friends whom you're close to, okay, or at least get to see very often. And this person is a master of putting self-doubt in your heart, and they just do it so effortlessly. Now the question is, why exactly do they do it? Now, they didn't do it because they were concerned. They didn't do it because of that. They did it because watching you doubt yourself was their entertainment. Now, this is why this video is extremely relevant for you. I'm coming from a place of experience, believe me. I'm not going to disclose a lot of personal details here, but I understand how it can be when somebody very close to you in your own family likes to play with your emotions, and they have a certain power over you, and they can instill that doubt in you about every decision, or at least every important decision that you're about to make in your life. And it can be very difficult. It can be very, very difficult because sometimes you're really weak when we decide on a few things for ourselves. It could be about career, it could be about a person that you like, it could be about a trip maybe that you want to take and you've been waiting to take for years. It could be about anything. And what these people do is, for their own entertainment, they play with your emotions because they can't feel empathy. What is important is that you understand that there is nothing wrong with you. And if you understand their games better, you're more equipped to handle what they are doing to you. And that is why this video is very relevant for you, or relevant for your siblings or people who are in the same circle. Because, what happens is that if a person like that exists, chances are that most people will observe that. Most people will know it about them. And they secretly know, but probably they don't talk about it because they're scared that it may get out and that person may find out. So we don't openly discuss those ideas most cases. But yes, if people know it and if people understand that, then this video will become very relevant for them also and will probably help them. So go ahead, share it with people you care about so that you can stop these games. Now, this isn't just a difficult personality, okay? It is a calculated pattern of behavior that belongs to some of the most manipulative people on earth. Sociopaths and psychopaths. This video is also about differentiating between these two types. There are sociopaths and there are psychopaths, and most importantly, these two terms are often interchangeably used. But I want you to understand that these two personalities are very different from each other. And the percentage of people who fall in the spectrum of sociopath or a psychopath is so huge. Chances are that you know at least one psychopath and you know a couple of sociopaths. And I have everything in my script to share with you the percentages and the numbers. So yes, these are most manipulative people. This is what is a common trait between the two. And in this video, we are going to uncover the crucial differences between them. So you can stop questioning your sanity and start recognizing the game they are playing with you. Often, we use the words sociopath and psychopath interchangeably to describe them, as I told you. But while they share some dark traits, the way they operate is critically different. And knowing that difference isn't just trivia. It's crucial for your mental and emotional well-being to place your safeguards against such people, especially when they're a part of your daily life. How likely is it that you've actually met a sociopath or a psychopath in your life? The numbers are often much higher than people think. Let's look at the real research-backed facts. And you will see why this awareness is so important. In her groundbreaking book, The Sociopath Next Door, Harvard psychologist Dr. Martha Stout estimates that 1 in 25 people is a sociopath. Now think about that for a second. 1 in 25. That means on a bus with 50 people, 2 of them could be sociopaths. In a wedding hall with 200 guests, 8 of them could be people who fit the criteria. This isn't a rare once-in-a-lifetime encounter. Statistically, you know several. It's estimated that about 1% of the general population meets the criteria for psychopathy. This is a widely cited figure in psychology, popularized by researchers, most notable being Dr. Robert Hare. Who is Dr. Robert Hare? Robert D. Hare is a Canadian psychologist best known for his pioneering work in psychopathy. He's considered one of the world's leading experts in this field. He's professor of psychology at the University of British Columbia. He designed a checklist to identify psychopathic traits in individuals. This tool is used by forensic psychologists and law enforcement to assess behavior of criminals. In a large lecture hall, a full movie theater, or maybe a company with 200 employees or so, chances are there are at least 2 psychopaths present. The difference is they are often the ones you would least expect or least suspect. You are 3 to 4 times more likely to encounter a psychopath in a corporate boardroom than in a regular walk of life. Now, this is also a very interesting statistic that you must know about. Psychopaths are not social outcasts. These are not people who hide in the corners or who do not succeed in life. No. That's not the case with them. They're often incredibly successful because their lack of empathy, their charisma, and their ruthlessness are mistaken for strong leadership qualities. Think about it. How many times you might have made this mistake where somebody appears to be really strict and ruthless and has that strong character who doesn't budge, who doesn't listen to people, who always has a way of getting things done the way he wants, she wants. And we consider those characteristics, those qualities to be leadership qualities, and some chances that it could be actually psychopathy at work. In this video, we'll break down the real difference between a sociopath and a psychopath. We're turning on the lights so you can see the patterns clearly and understand the influence these personalities can have on you. It's important to know that in the world of psychology, both sociopathy and psychopathy fall under one clinical diagnosis, antisocial personality disorder, which is ASPD. Now, think of ASPD as the main category, and these two are the distinct different types within that category. Now, both are defined by a chilling lack of empathy, a disregard for social rules and the rights of others, and a tendency to be highly manipulative. But how they express these traits is where the vital difference lies. A great analogy is the volcano versus the glacier. They are made, not born. A sociopath is often a product of their environment. They generally have a chaotic or traumatic childhood. It often stems from severe childhood trauma, neglect, or abuse. They learn from a very young age that the world is an unsafe, unpredictable space. So they develop a set of survival skills: manipulation to get their needs met, lying to avoid punishment, and a hardened exterior that blocks out true empathy. Their conscience, the voice that makes us feel guilt, never fully develops. Now, this is where the problem lies. If a person does not have a solid conscience, this person is capable of doing anything. Since they've experienced things like those in their childhood, it would be safe to say that they are made and they're not born that way, which is not the same case with psychopaths. We can get to that. They are emotionally unstable. A sociopath has a very short fuse. Their emotions are real, but they are raw and uncontrolled. They are mostly angry. There is a lot of irritation in that person and rage, of course. They are constantly experiencing frustration just below the surface. Okay, they might not show it to you always, but they are experiencing frustration in them. A tiny, perceived slight. So if there is this little question that they do not like, or if there is something that is said and they misinterpret it, those little things can trigger them. This is why you feel like you're walking on eggshells whenever you're around them. The anxiety you feel is your nervous system correctly identifying a highly unstable and a dangerous personality. Okay, so it is your nervous system that tells you that, bro, be conscious. Okay, this person, you never know when they're going to start shouting. So you're always a little careful around them. So this is the personality of a sociopath. I don't know if you can think of somebody in your family or maybe in your friends or anybody in your surroundings who is like that or fits this criteria. Think about it. Probably the video will make more sense. Next is their lifestyle. Now, because they are driven by impulse and a constant need for stimulation, their life is a picture of destruction. They will quit a good job over a minor disagreement. They will impulsively spend all their rent money on a new gadget. They will start passionate relationships that burn out in a matter of weeks, often ending them with a shocking cruelty. They don't have a 5-year plan. They barely have a 5-minute plan. Their primary goal is instant gratification. They want everything now. Okay, they want to be happy now. They want to be gratified now. And they leave a trail of broken promises, unpaid debts, confused, hurt people behind them. Let's talk about relationships. They are possessive but not profound. Important point, since it concerns you. This is the most confusing part for families. A sociopath can form an attachment, which is why people often say, but he loves his mother. You hear statements like these. Oh, she's so devoted to her brother. However, this is not love as we know it to be. It is a distorted, possessive, and a selfish kind of a bond. They see their chosen person not as an individual, but as an extension of themselves, something that belongs to them, okay? They love you because you're useful to them, because you make them look good, or because you're a reliable source of support for them. The moment you assert your own needs or you disagree with something with them, the love can instantly turn to rage. It is a very volatile and a conditional attachment, not a genuine connection. Now let's look at a simple scenario to make you understand this. Imagine a child falls and scrapes their knee at the playground. Now, the child starts to cry loudly. Empathetic parents' response would be, a genuine one would be, hey, are you okay? Let me see. I know it hurts. It's okay to cry. It's all right. They provide comfort. That's what parents would do. But a sociopathic parent's response would be something like this. Now, their focus is 100% on their own needs. Stop crying. You're making a scene. You're fine. Get up. This is how a sociopathic person would respond, a parent. Now, what is missing here? A complete lack of guilt. They shift blame. More often, they will expertly shift the blame. It is never their fault. The reason they yelled is because you provoked them. The reason they are shouting is because you've done something wrong. They will always be in that blame shifting mode, always trying to put the blame on somebody else. A deep-seated victim mentality. Like I told you, it stems in their childhood, some trauma that is attached to their childhood. Of course, in their childhood, they probably were the victim, right? So there is this deep-seated victim mentality. Sociopaths see themselves as the primary victim in every situation. This justifies all of their destructive behavior. They lie because they've been treated unfairly. They cheat because they deserve more. So there is always reason behind their behavior, and they always look for that factor that they can quickly come up as an answer to any of their wrongdoings. And this is why I did it, okay? Not my mistake. Now, let's talk about psychopaths. Now, these are the hidden glacier, ice cold and calculating. They are born. So this is how they're different from sociopaths. Psychopathy is believed to be largely genetic or innate. It's a difference in their brain wiring. Now, these people are born without the hardware for genuine emotion and empathy. No amount of good parenting could have changed this. Okay? Don't judge me for saying this, but it's not really their mistake that they are like that. Because their biology is such. Their minds are such. There are things that are missing. The brain is wired differently and they can't help it. This makes them very dangerous, by the way. Very, very dangerous. Because these people are different from what we understand of human beings. They are not the typical definition of a human being. They're very different because at the end of the day, who are we? We are our minds, right? The things that we feel, the thoughts that we experience, the experiences that we have in our lives, the relationships that we build has everything to do with our minds, our brains, the way we control ourselves. Now imagine a person is very different here. So whatever you understand of human beings doesn't really fit the picture. And that makes them very dangerous, very unpredictable. These people are emotionally absent. A psychopath does not feel emotions like we do. They feel nothing. They are cold. Any emotion you see, like charm, warmth, anger, sadness, it's all a performance. They are master mimics, studying human emotion and wearing it like a perfectly tailored mask to get what they want. Next is their lifestyle. Unlike the chaotic sociopath, the psychopath is often highly successful. They are patient, they are organized, and they are meticulous planners. They can be successful CEO, a respected leader, or a seemingly perfect family man. Their life is controlled and deliberate because their every move is part of a larger, calculated game. There is this wonderful book that I have to give a mention. I honestly don't have it on my script. I did not write it down, but I just instantly remember because this topic really interests me. And I love reading about psychology. I love reading about people, understanding how people behave, what motivates them or what controls them. I am a student of psychology and a genuine one. The way I'm a student of English, I have always loved learning English. This is also a subject that really interests me. So there's this book, The Psychopath Test. You must read it. You will have the best laughs. The author has a way to explain the most complex things in a very, very funny manner. He will make you laugh and he will reveal the best secrets. And it's one of the best written books on psychopaths. If this subject interests you, get it. And believe me, nobody told me to talk about this book. No, it came instantly from my heart because I feel a little grateful to this author to have written such a beautiful book. Okay, coming back. Relationships. Let's talk about psychopaths' relationships. They are purely transactional, needless to say. A psychopath cannot form a genuine emotional bond with anybody. People, including their own family, are not seen as human beings. They are seen as pawns or objects to be used for the psychopath's own gain, for money, status, entertainment, and then discarded without a second thought when the usefulness is over. Why knowing this is your protection? So what is the simplest way to remember the difference? A sociopath is a hot mess of impulse and rage who might drag you into their own chaotic storm. On the other hand, a psychopath is an ice-cold, calculating predator who will meticulously plan your use and disposal without you ever seeing the danger coming. I can bet a lot of you probably are thinking of some ex. I'm just guessing. When you grow up with one of these personalities, you don't learn the rules of a normal, healthy family. Instead, you learn how to survive in their world. It's like trying to figure out the rules to a secret game you didn't even know you were playing. If that person was a sociopath, you basically became an expert at walking on eggshells. You learn to read their moods from a mile away. The way they slammed a door, the tone of their voice, everything. You were always watchful, very careful around them. In some of your cases, probably a parent, not sure. Or maybe a borderline, not exactly a sociopath, but a borderline sociopath, maybe. Now, your main job was to keep the peace. You always wanted to maintain peace and not get into another fight. If you can think of somebody, read more about this subject and you probably might find answers to a lot of your unanswered questions. You learn to stay quiet with such people, to not ask too much, and to make yourself small. All in the hope of preventing that next angry explosion of theirs. You weren't learning how to be in a relationship. You were learning how to manage chaos. If that person was a psychopath, not a sociopath, but a psychopath, it was different. It was quieter, but maybe even more confusing. You learned that love and approval weren't free. They had to be earned. So you became a perfectionist. You tried to get the best grades, be the most talented or the most obedient child, because you knew your accomplishments were the only thing that got you that flash of praise from that person, and it really mattered to you. But you could always feel that praise was hollow, right? It wasn't really about you. You weren't their child to be loved. You were more like a trophy to be polished or shown off. I don't know whose name is popping in your head. My purpose behind doing this one was to just free you from a few prisons that you've been living within. I don't know. As people and as social animals, we are bound to live amongst other people, and sometimes there are such characters who influence us a lot, sometimes in a positive way and sometimes and a lot of times in a negative way. So I just want to free you, and I want these people to be revealed to you so that you free yourself from that prison that you've been keeping yourself in, and you start to live your life the way you have always wanted to, and free yourself from their expectations. Live a more free way, because that's the best kind of way to live. And that's why finally understanding this is so liberating. It's the moment you can finally tell yourself, I wasn't crazy. My feeling that something was deeply wrong was right all along. Recognizing these patterns isn't about blaming them. No, it's about freeing yourself. It's the first step to finally stop surviving in their world and start living in your own world. Your awareness is your armor. Remember that. Just being aware makes all the difference. There is nothing else to be done. You just have to be aware that this was being done to you, and this will free you. By understanding these differences, you can stop blaming yourself for their behavior and start setting the boundaries that you need to protect your peace. You deserve a relationship built on genuine empathy and not on chaos or calculation. This knowledge liberates you from a lifetime of self-blame and the exhausting effort of trying to win an unwinnable game. It empowers you to stop reacting to their chaos and start proactively protecting your peace with firm boundaries. Now is the time you build those boundaries. Ultimately, understanding that you were dealing with a person incapable of genuine love allows you to do the real work of healing and building healthy, respectful relationships you actually deserve. So this was the video. I hope you enjoyed and you learned something. I've given it my best. My idea was just to reveal such personalities in your life and nothing else. I did not want to hurt you. I did not want to sensationalize this. But yes, revealing this to you was important so that you can be free and you can build better relationships and be more close to people who actually matter, who are capable of loving you and whom you're capable of loving back. So I'll see you in my next one. Thank you very much. If you like this video, please give it a like. This will massively help this video to grow. Share it with 4 or 5 people you truly care for. And especially if you can figure out a person in your head that fits this definition, even more the reason that you should share this video with others. Apart from that, subscribe for more such content. And I make videos on personality development, communication skills and stuff. Okay then, this is it. Thank you. I'll see you in the next one.